Peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, I'm going to talk. Man, I want to compile so much stuff together. I almost want to make this a 5-hour video. But because I'm on my phone and my phone won't allow that to happen, you know. Because my magic abilities, you know, aren't to that point just yet. This video won't be 5 hours long. But anyway, I want to speak on a little bit of the draconian bloodline and how that ties into Satan and Lucifer with Enki and Enlil. And I also want to talk a little bit about anime cartoon on Netflix. Matter of fact, spoiler alert, before I even get to it, it's called Devilman Crybaby. Yep, or Crybaby Devilman. Either one in that order, but Devilman Crybaby, and it's something they was just recently pushing on Netflix. So if you got Netflix, they was showing you, hey, something new on Netflix, you know. So also with that being said, showing you too how it's trying to push these types of ideas and archetypes, or should I say these types of symbolisms into your subconscious, you know, through these cartoons. But I want to speak on Enki and Enlil situation. As a matter of fact, I just came across a Dan Winter video that matter of fact, I showed y'all that Rick Smith video, the Robert Morningsky video, and then Dan Winter got videos as well where he talk about like the ET origins and the whole Enki and Enlil story. And two, I got a little more insight too, that the Lyrans are one of the eldest beings, and that's where that divine feminine energy come through Sekhmet, through that energy. That's the feminine energy that the other beings like the Reptilians and like the serious dog beings, like all these other beings was trying to get away from, was that divine feminine of the Lyran, that lioness, not tiger, lions, tigers, and bear, that lion, cat, feline energy, you know, from the Lyran. So that's where that divine feminine, dominant energy started and come from. And I always remind people, as above, so below. As males, like males are females, but for sure, you know, as a male, the reason why we got nipples is because we are, as females, in like embryo stage, you know, before we actually, you know, all right, you're a male, you know, fully female, you know. So keep that in mind. Just like the universe, from the darkness of the womb, man, let there be light. So, and you know, for one, you see where as these things come about, like you know, feminine energy, masculine energy, all these different things allows for there to be polarities, and when there's polarities, one side may not agree with the other side, you know, in a bunch of situations. But getting into Enki and Enlil, I just got an insight of like where that's also where you get the Satan Lucifer aspect, and the terminologies for it comes from so many different things. It's not just, all right, think about it like this, with the fact of as above so below, then you could understand that Lucifer and Satan is more than just a consciousness vibration of like a light bearer or whatever the case may be. It's you know, it's more than that. Satan is also Saturn, you know what I'm saying? And Lucifer on the light bearer, in the light bearer format, in essence, would be more of like an enlightened person, you know. That's what the Illuminati, you know, being enlightened. Lucifer, the light bearer, you know. And Satan, Saturn, you know, adding that structure, that responsibility, you know, closing things off, boundaries, you know. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for Saturn, you know, we wouldn't be in our skin right now, you know. Because I tell people we did ask for this physical being, but, you know, if it wasn't for the boundaries of our skin, then we would all just be, you know, together. Not to make it sound bad, but in essence, and which is no bad or good, it's all your own perception and what you feel, you know, and what you want to deal with. But also with Satan, it has the origin of the word Satan, and Satan meaning like almost like the one who like I say governs the land or the area, but something in that type of vibe. And basically that's like the name for Enlil, you know, because Enlil was the first brother that came down and, you know, created the humans, and he had them like in a, you know, a lower form, like on a level where they, you know, where they couldn't ascend, you know, they were just lower life forms, in essence, just slaves, just to make sure they do their little job on Earth, you know. And Enki was the one that came along and changed up the DNA. Matter of fact, Enki basically created humans with an advantage over, like, basically the beings like his brother, like Enlil, and some of the draconian reptilian beings, where basically he added psychokinesis to them, as well as extending our life. Because when we were just creations under Enlil, we had short lifespans. We were just basically, you know, living to die in essence, you know, sounding familiar. But, you know, just to be slaves and just to work in that type of system. And you see how the story of Enki and Enlil trickles down into, you know, you get your governments, and also Enki and Enlil, that's the families, or more on the Enlil part, but like with the Rothschild, you know, they were breathing methane and dealing with phosphorus and nitrogen. Phosphorus deals with the color red and white. Red and white is the red shield, the Rothschild family, you know. And two, you start to see like the draconian or the reptilian beings, which I always add, not all of them are quote unquote evil or you know, malicious. You know, there are some that know that they could evolve through us, you know, which that's another situation to speak on. But the draconians' DNA is non-implosive, so, you know, you see how, like, so beings whose DNA is non-implosive and deal with methane, they're gonna try to get the atmosphere of this place the same as that. And you see why those families, like the Rothschild family, like create all this, you know, hecticness and disrespect Mother Earth and things of this nature, because they're an extension of that reptilian bloodline. And it's also deep with the reptilian thing, because the reptilian also has to do with them being a part of our creation, and part of what's in us is our reptilian brain. You know, we all part reptilian too, in essence. But Enlil is like the Satan, or Satan. We're turning to Satan, but like the person who like governs or over a certain area, you know, in essence. And then you got Enlil, or Enki. Enki is known as Lucifer the lightbearer, because that's what Enki did. Enki extended our life as creations on a human level, and also added psychokinesis. Psychokinesis is like the moving things with the mind, in essence, you know, and that's almost like the law of attraction, you know, manifesting things, moving things with the mind. And that allowed us to evolve in ways that the draconians couldn't. So too, you kind of see that fallen angel being jealous of humans. It's like after Enki, you know, redid our little DNA, you know, it gave us an advantage over the reptilians, and they became jealous of us. That little vibe right there, you know what I'm saying? And you see both Lucifer effects. You see Lucifer as something quote-unquote good, and Lucifer as something quote-unquote bad. You see the Enki aspect of Lucifer, of, you know, bringing the light to the situation. Enki also in the stories was the one who let us know about having sex. And when you go to the stories about, like, you know, how he told us about having sex, and like, yeah, y'all should do this all day, you know what I'm saying? And when Enlil came around, we all was like screwing or whatever, and he like, man, what's going on, you know, like. So And two, seeing like you know, with melanated beings being the eldest physical body suits on the planet, you see why we so sexual, you know what I'm saying? Like with our music, everything is like, hey baby, you know, I mean, you know, that bass chakra, that low voice, very, very white, you know, bass, root chakra, bass, sexual energy. But anyway, you know, you see where that sexual energy come from as well within that story. But again, you know, Enki is that Lucifer aspect of like showing us the light. Like, bro, y'all not just no any type of beings. Y'all could be guys too. And that's why I tell people like that Lucifer effect, that ain't falling from source itself. That's falling from some immediate families and gods and star beings within this immediate solar system. That's why I always tell people when they go to talking that devil, this and that, and God, like, you know, that stuff from the Bible and stuff, that's our immediate unit, like, and to a certain extent, because as above, so below. So yeah, it's the expansion of the universe, even past our direct one. But you know, also the beings, like, is our immediate planet, stuff like that. So it's not like talking about the complete, so, you know, there's no word for that, everything, you know what I'm saying? But it's more of like some beings that in our direct universe in essence. But Enki, you know, Lucifer, you know, that light bearer against Satan, you know, Saturn, that structure, trying to hold things in a certain boundary, you know, and you see how that end up getting a negative connotation because, you know, because later the government, you know, work with Saturn and the black box, and that's why your graduation hat is a black box and all this. They use that Saturn energy to box you in on the quote-unquote negative manner, you know. But back to the fallen angels being jealous, and matter of fact, the seraphim, like the fallen angel. So the fallen angel in that aspect is more of like the fallen, you know, like or like the reptilians in essence, the seraphim. And also, the reptilian beings were androgynous. So you also see like what the androgyny do coming into the human aspect and into the Rothschild, or into like how Rome, you know, the Romans kind of had like that very androgynous behavior, you know what I'm saying? To each his own. I'm not here to you know, talk about lifestyles or whatever. That's to each his own, you know. Matter of fact, 'cause that's what we here to learn, you know. I'm on my own little mission, doing my own little thing, you know. Long as things don't stop, you know what I'm saying, what I'm doing, you know, it's all good. And so again, you see what androgynous from the reptilian essence trickle down into that human aspect as well. And you also got, outside of just that, you know, dealing with the reptilians, you got androgynous beings who look over gateways as well. But again, that's where the jealousy come into play. You know, oh, you know, you created these humans better than us. That's the matter of fact. So that's more of the Enlil aspect. The Satan or Satan aspect is like, you know, like, oh, Enki done redid their DNA. Now they just as good as, you know what I'm saying. Now they psychokinetic. Their DNA is implosive, so they could you know, live long. Because another thing too, their DNA wasn't implosive, so it prevented them from having bliss experiences and carrying memory through lifetimes, in essence. But which I don't want to get too deep into that. And you start to see the importance too, like of shaman work, and you know why it's important with that psychokinesis, or with that being able to envision and move your plasma body about. Because here it is that, you know, that type of energy is just as important as, you know, matter of fact, the Brethren Dan Winter said this on the video, where it was like like no matter how much or expensive Bush's army is, you know, one shaman could outmatch all of that, you know, if that shaman, you know, is good at moving the plasma body, you know, that plasma implosion and being able to move the plasma through focus. And also, DNA is like an interstellar communication device, because again, that's why everything is referred to when we talk about these downloads and connecting to the ancestors and your genes and your genius or genetics. You know, it all stems back to the DNA, and the DNA opening up. You know, that 528 hertz binaural beat is good for the integrity of the DNA and opening up DNA, but it's also interstellar communication. So without us, that's why like the sun gaze and all that is good, because, or just being in the sun, because our DNA is, you know, being touched by that light, for lack of a better word, is connecting with that light and getting these different messages, you know, from that light. And also too, with the Orion wars and artificial intelligence, you start to see like that, like what a Terminator story is and the Matrix little vibe. It actually, like the Reptilians or the Draconians back, you know, back in those Enki and Enlil days, somewhere in the past, had a situation where they had mostly, you know, metal things and machines running things, and two, Dan Winter also brought up that's how their DNA became non-implosive from being around that metal all the time as well. And that's why metal not good. That's why it's better for us to be born. Like the most important parts of us coming to, you know, in our earthly existence is when you quote unquote born and when you quote unquote die or transition, you know, transitioning in and transitioning out. And you don't want to be around all these bad metals and computer signals and all these unhealthy medicines. You want to be out in nature, away from these harmful metals and stuff like that, because our implosive DNA, you know, you don't want it to get harmed by all these artificial things. But again, just bringing it in, like that's where you get the devil, Lucifer. Let me see the time. The Lucifer, Satan aspect as well is dealing with Enki and Enlil. You know, Enki is the one that and show the way. Matter of fact, and a good example of how stories get told. You know, one man's devil is another man's savior, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Enki could see Enlil as the devil, and Enlil could see Enki as the devil. And depending on who you getting the story from, you're gonna hear those different sides of the quote unquote devil. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you could hear Enki, the savior who came down and saved all of us, and which it ain't gonna say he taught us psychokinesis and did this. He ain't taught us psychokinesis and help our DNA, our life experience. Sorry for chopping that up. I'm trying to move fast through you know, with the stories of how all these things break down. Of course, it's not saying, oh yeah, Enki, he gave us psychokinesis and he helped the integrity of our DNA, this and that. It's gonna speak of him like, oh yeah, the lightbearer who brought knowledge forth to all of us. We should all give thanks to Enki. And then as names change and languages change, you know, Enki could become Jesus. Enki could become, you know, Lucifer as a thing too, depending on who telling the story, you know. And that's how you get all these different little aspects of Lucifer, the Christ energy, and Satan, and, you know, like all that, or God, you know, all those different aspects come from different points of view of this one story in essence, you know, as well. So it just depends on who's telling it, and, you know, who's telling the story and how you perceive it in essence. But now to the next part right quick, this Devilman Crybaby movie, anime movie on Netflix. Not so much an anime. Well, I mean, it is in essence with the style of it, but it's a Netflix series, and basically just dropped recently. And this is going on while this spiritual awakening is coming through. And spoiler alert, cut off the video right now if you really want to go watch it. It's about 10 episodes, not that long, but it packs the full concept into it just with the quickness. But it's basically dealing with Devilman is a half man, half devil, half demon, and he works with a brother who he grew up with named Ryu, and Ryu is, you know, white hair, you know, always wearing white. And then they always have flashbacks of when they growing up, he was cold, like he would be ready to kill something, like, why save that cat, let's kill it, or let's do this, or do something destructive. And, you know, Kira, you know, who ended up being the devil man, he's like always crying and compassionate, things of this nature. Now also what they're trying to do is, this is reverse psychology towards, you know, the waking up of, and I don't even just say melanated beings, I'm going to just say of melanin, because some people got neuromelanin and don't visibly have skin melanin, and you may walk up to them and call them white, you know. So I'm going to just not use a melanated person on the, because your mind is going to go there. So, but just melanin, you know, people know that there's a awakening of melanin right now. And so now all these stories, matter of fact, Walt Disney always do these reverse psychology propagandas where they, matter of fact, and H.P. Lovecraft kind of deal with this aspect too, where like it's calling the God self a demon. So basically they portraying the demons, the demons in this story is basically like you could say like the angels or the light beings, or the, you know, that God high vibrational energy that's moving in right now. And the devil man, devil women, you know, the half devils, half humans are the people who are waking up, aka, you know, the melanin within them are being activated, and they're getting these X-Men like powers, you know, are becoming these demigod type of things. They also got this aspect in Ajin that's also on Netflix as well. You know, like that half human, half demon or jinn, or, you know what I'm saying? And they try to make that aspect look scary because they're trying to, you know, they're trying to place propaganda, fear on the masses, of making them scared of people with psychic abilities, and making them scared of people who are, you know, just of a high vibration and higher consciousness in essence. You know, so it's trying to make it seem like, oh, these people are the devil, you know, and we love our humanity, we love being ignorant and this and that, in which, to a certain extent, on the duality of the university, in the duality of the university or the universe, you know, ignorance is bliss to a certain extent. You can see how ignorance is bliss on that level, but, you know, they're trying to propaganda fear into the masses of being scared of people being awakened. And there's also, you know, again, it's almost like the Bright. Matter of fact, spoiler alert on the Bright. Well, I ain't getting too deep into it, but it's just that aspect of, you know, melanated people being held down and one day waking up, you know, basically. You know, because as a matter of fact, on the story, the demons was held down, and now they being able to rise up again. And then to get into the last aspect of it, though, Ryu, the one in all white, that, you know, as they grew up, he threw a demon Amon or Amun, which I done heard that he's in a bunch of different anime stories. But he threw that demon into Akira, and that's how he became half devil, half man. But basically, he ended up being Lucifer or the devil or Satan, you know what I'm saying? And he basically, when it showed and he exposed himself at the end, when he really remembered who he was, he had 12 wings, you know, 12 wings, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 zodiac signs, however you want to look at it. He had 12 wings, but also, most important, even though he was a male on the movie and, you know, considered a male, he had some breasts. And I always talk about how, like, that feminine, that Lilith, you know, devil, oh, sorry about that, I'm gonna wait, because I am outside. Little Nelly for y'all. but that feminine aspect to the devil, like basically, I was speaking on how the Powerpuff Girls also exposed that, where they had the little devil man on their way. It was like a devil man / woman, but anyway, like trying to show that and to a certain extent is like propaganda and throwing the feminine, trying to make the feminine look bad, but it's also too, that's just the energy that's tied to that story of Lucifer and Satan as well, is like that Lilith, or that kind of like harlot or red, the harlot vibration, you know, trying to find the right words for it. But it's basically a feminine aspect that's tied into the Lucifer / Satan story and aspect, which again I think is just more of the people who are over masculine, just trying to demonize the feminine aspect. Because again, how I just finished saying, who, depending on who telling the story or how you hear the story, certain people gonna make a certain thing look devilish and vice versa, you know. But basically though, what happened to get to the chase of what I'm trying to speak on from the cartoon, was like it was trying to propaganda that to make everybody scared of like people waking up, but also it kind of showed, it was playing with your brain on showing you too how, like, so even though Ryu like seemed like he was on the Kira side, like, and was helping Devilman or whatever, towards the end he started some shit where he basically sparked the end of the world, where he was like, we're gonna get rid of all humans, you know. Matter of fact, again, trying to make humans or people who not spiritually gifted scared of spiritually gifted people. Because also what they did, he got on TV, Ryu, you know, when he was trying to, so he basically was sparking the end of the world. He got on TV and was like, yep, we found out that before everybody who became a devil man or a demon, they were against society first, you know. And then you see whoever wrote that cartoon and shit is about that bullshit to a certain extent. Because, yeah, it's a cartoon, but then, yeah, you propaganding some dangerous stuff into your cartoon. But anyway, it's like, yeah, you know, the people who, basically like the people who woke are against society, they may be the demons, so we need to kill them before they turn a demon. So it sparked a riots on the street where anybody who, you know, so basically anybody who would seem like a rebel or whatever would, you know, get killed, you know, basically by the people. And it was also showing how, you know, to a certain extent, the humans were the real devils and idiots in essence, because they were killing the other humans who weren't really devils, you know, in essence too. And then after that broadcast, where it exposed that the people, the newscasters that he was on TV with, were really demons, and the cameramen, they all were demons, and they basically just pulled a switcheroo on all the humans and had them fighting against each other, just waiting for them to kill each other, you know. But it is a lot of propaganda with a lot of, so not only with this movie I'm talking about, this anime Devilman Crybaby, or Crybaby Devilman, but with a lot of these animes and cartoons and new series on Netflix and all this, man, it's about to be this type of propaganda and open you up to this type of information. Also be aware to not let your subconscious be programmed by, you know, certain aspects, you know, because walking into this, you know, you want to have a certain knowledge about things, because not having a certain knowledge about things, walking into some of these anime cartoons and things of this nature could confuse you even more. But then again, how this aspect always come in out of left field, meditation. If you meditate though, and you're clearing your mind and you're doing all these exercises, your intuition will have that discernment to let you know, oop, nope, don't watch that, don't pay attention to that, you know, they trying to play you with this information, you know. You'll be getting those downloads as you watching whatever you're watching, you know. Kind of like if you was to watch the news, you know, and only just peep out, you know, where your mind like, all right, nope, that's some bullcorn, that's some bullcorn. Oh, they hiding something with that message, you know, like that's how that situation go. But, as a matter of fact, also disclaimer, which is kind of late, but with the Devilman Crybaby, you know, it may not teach us on how people raise their kids, but it may be a little gory, you know, and it has like a little sex into it as well. So, you know, might want to watch out for that, dealing with that cartoon. And also, before I go, another one now this one is a little more dark. This one is called Berserk. Berserk is it's like 3 different little movies that makes one movie, but the storyline is so, and 2, I guess that's how I know I just been around some dark stuff. Like, I just been from the dark to the light and just seen so much. Because for me to be you know, cause that's one thing I know though, you know, being a light being doesn't necessarily mean, oh yeah, I'm peachy and this and that all the time. You know, it's just, it's carrying a high vibration. Of course, I'm a positive person by nature though too. Like, you know, my true being want to see, you know, people loving and be happy, you know, majority of the time. But I'm also like, I'm into the dark or whatever. But long story short, you know, but again, disclaimer, Berserk is a level over Devilman Crybaby. So you definitely want to, if you're not into like dark anime that may deal with demons and, you know, real serious demonic things happening, you know, then don't watch it. You know, because you may not, you know, because again, everybody's subconscious. If you haven't done any alchemy to the subconscious, you'll still look at these things. It's like, oh, this is horrible. And it could like stain, you know, it could mess you up. All because your subconscious believes it's so, you know what I'm saying? And 2, you'll see the importance of subconscious alchemy on that level. But I'm about to go, you know, again, Devilman Crybaby or Crybaby Devilman on Netflix and Berserk. You know, check those out. Just give different little aspects of that demonic devil aspect of things, you know. But peace. Habit now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past.